Hi, I'm Luke from Korg, and today we're looking at the Volca Beats, which is part of our Volca range. The Volca Beats is a drum machine, it's analog, it has a 16-step sequencer, and it's super compact and portable. You can run it on batteries, and it sounds amazing. So let's dive in and have a listen. So you've got 10 parts in total, and 6 of those are analog, 4 of those are PCM or sample-based sounds, and it's very easy to audition those straight from the front panel here, as long as you're in live mode. So I can just listen to them by triggering the keys, and then I can actually manipulate those sounds with this matrix of knobs here on the top. So for instance, the kick has its own channel here, so I can change things like the amount of decay. I can tune it. I can also adjust the click as well, and the same thing's true for all the different parts. So if I go onto snare, you can adjust the amount of snap in it, again the decay, and things like the toms, you can adjust the decay and also tune them. And the hats, you've got this nice grain control, so you can get it to sound really glitchy, and again the amount of decay you can adjust. Same thing with the open hat as well. And then for your sample based sounds, your PCM sounds, you've got 4 of those, and you can adjust what we call the PCM speed. And as you can hear, it's how quickly that sample is played back, which then adjusts the pitch. So you have quite a lot of control over the sound manipulation there. But the fun really begins when you start to sequence, and it's very easy to do that. You've got 2 modes. You've got live mode, which we're in now, and you've got step mode where you can start stepping in your parts. So let's clear our pattern that's in there at the moment and hit step mode, and then we can use this part control to select which part we want to step in. So let's just put 4 kicks in so you can see what happens. So there's our 4 kick drums. And then obviously we can change where they play, but we can also record live as well. So if we go into live mode and hit record, we can quickly start layering up our sounds. We can adjust the levels. So I'm on snare part here, so I can adjust the level of that part very easily, and the same thing is true for the other parts. Let's now step in some hi-hats. Let's put in an open hat at the end. Maybe go back into live mode and add some toms in. So we're getting quite a nice groove going now. We can also mute parts. So we can take the kick out, for example, bring it back in. We can also solo parts. And then bring them back. So everything's right there on the front panel, very, very easy to use. We've also got this neat feature called stutter. Now what stutter does is it basically re-triggers the sounds. So at the moment I've got it set to time to lock to the tempo, which is really handy, so you get this kind of effect. So you can really add a lot more kind of feel to the pattern in a subtle way, but then you can bring the depth up. And start kind of almost performing with that. And you can use it in different ways. So if I bring the time right down, you can get that really nice grainy effect. So there's lots of different ways you can use it. Let's stick it back into syncing with the tempo. Because what you can do, you can actually motion record using this as well. So that's a little light here. You can see I can just hold down function and record stutter. You can also record speed as well, so automate the different speed on the different parts, which is really cool. So, but let's have a go at the stutter. Hit record. So as you can hear, I've just recorded that now into the pattern, and I can turn that on and off as I need. So once you've finished, you can actually save that. So to do that, it's very easy. All I need to do is function memory, and then I can save it into any one of these locations. Let's put it into number 8. That's now saved. And at any time I can bring back any of the other saved patterns. So you can play them live, which is really cool. The other thing you can do is change what we call active steps. So that changes how many steps there are in the pattern. And to do that, you go function play, and we can play it back. And you can see it's playing all 16 at the moment. But we could take one step out, and now we're in 15/16. Probably not a time signature everyone wants to use, but it's there. It could be really nice to be using that sort of thing when you're using more than one Volca at once, where you've got one 15 steps, one 16 steps, or maybe 14, and they get a really nice slow cyclic motion and polyrhythms moving against each other. But you can also use it for more conventional things. So for instance, I could take out effectively beat 4. So now we're in 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or go back into 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You also have this other neat feature called step jump, which allows you to hold down a particular step or steps, and it will repeat those in sequence. And it's, again, good for performance. So let's play it, put it into step jump mode, and it will just repeat that until I release it. So you can start, again, getting some more irregular patterns going that way. So as you can see, I've got a Nano Pad 2 here connected via USB host via MIDI. So I can connect any MIDI instrument to this MIDI in and trigger the Korg Volca Beats from that. So what I've got now is the ability to play all the different parts via this Nano Pad, which is really nice via these pads. So for instance, if I've got a pattern playing here, I can hit record. Start putting my parts in. And I've also got my XY pad here as well, and I've configured this to control the grain and the decay of the hi-hat. So I can start manipulating the sounds and really feeling my way through to get the sweet spot of my sound. Okay, so that's the MIDI in. Let's have a look at the sync in and outs. Okay, so as you can see, I've brought in a second Volca here. This is a Volca FM. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be any of the Volcas. They've all got this sync in and out protocol on them. In fact, a lot of other Korg gear has this as well. What that means is that you can basically get the timing in sync with each other just with one of these cables. You actually get one of these included with every Volca. So we got one with our Volca Beats. So let's go sync out and sync in to the Volca FM. But before I do that, I just want to play the two patterns we're going to hear. So this is the Volca Beats and this is the Volca FM. Obviously playing at different tempos, but as soon as I put this in and start them together, they're perfectly locked together. And then this one's actually acting as the master. So if I want to increase the tempo, I can do that or take it down, and this one will follow then. So while we're talking about connections, we've already covered the MIDI in and the sync in and out. We've also over here on the left, you can see we've got a power supply input. We're not using that at the moment. We're actually running these Volcas on the included batteries, but you can plug in a UK power supply, a KA350, or you can power it from a Volca mix. That'll actually power 3 different Volcas and allow you to merge the sounds of those together. So that's really cool. The other connection to talk about is the audio output. So at the moment we're connected via a mini jack to a pair of studio monitors. You could connect to a mixer or some recording equipment or some headphones, of course. So that's really handy if you want to monitor privately. But if you take that out, then it activates the speaker underneath, so you can monitor it just literally the unit itself and use it anywhere, which is super handy. Okay, so that's the Volca Beats, amazing analog drum machine with 16-part sequencer, really easy to use, super portable. Go check it out.